Recording.
We are recording. So welcome to the
Dun, dun,
to the
dun.
meeting. So let's check in then.
Yeah. Do you want to start?
Yes, today was a interesting day. I had a lot of meetings. The morning was pack of violent people talking about things. And meetings that where people think that they're not being violent, but they're like crazy. And it was interesting. But it was a day that went, like, I would say, smoothly. Yesterday was a day that was full of like interruptions and stuff like that. Today I finished my day smoothly in the office. Then I pick up my son, and it was okay. So in terms of feelings, I'm kind of like satisfied with the day, I'll say. But yeah, I only have like good feelings around. My need seems to be met. I don't know, a little bit spoiled, maybe. I don't know, something like that. What about you?
Thank you for sharing. My day was pretty good today. I was happy that I felt really productive at work. Yesterday, I just couldn't concentrate at work. I was going around in circles trying not to do the things I knew I needed to do. So today I felt productive. And then I was really happy that after work I met up with some NVC people that I'm in touch with and I work with here. And we planned what we're gonna deliver in a workshop that we're doing on Monday. Me and this girl, Enrica. We're just doing an open workshop on NVC for anyone really, beginners and those who know a little bit about it too. So that was really exciting. We got really productive as well. Just got the plan down. So I'm still kind of in this mood of like, yeah, I'm gonna do NVC soon, and excited to share and integrate everything that we did on the IIT into my life and the people around me here. So definitely positive mood.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was mute to avoid the little one.
Yeah. So I understand that you're going to share some what you learned in Robert's session, right? On delivering workshops to difficult groups. It was, wasn't it?
Yes, the name he put in the workshop is sharing NVC in skeptical groups.
Yeah, skeptical groups.
Yes, and he basically made a workshop about like trying to introduce. I think the general thing is trying to introduce the concept of MVC without like actually explaining what MVC is, because it is not really well received, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically says, okay, I will, like, he started like, how I will begin a workshop. He says, well, I start the workshop by addressing the title, and the title will be like solving a problem, addressing a problem, not really like introduction to MVC or anything. It was like trying to tackle a problem on, for example, how to express feedback in a connecting way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a example, right? And then he will follow up with a short intro on who is him, very personal. If he's in an environment where it's very institutional, he mentioned his career and his background. But if otherwise, he will just mention his personal background in relation with MVC. And then he just jump directly into burning questions, like, okay, let's tackle the questions that these people wants to tackle. So the question is about asking what pains are holding them, which pains they have around the center area of the workshop,
Mm-hmm.
and collecting knowledge out of them rather than teaching them. For that, he says that he follows a technique called appreciative inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned something from the art of hosting. I just try to follow that. I don't really know what it is. I found a couple of courses, but I just found a book and I haven't read it. So
Yeah. Can I ask a question there? You know, when you say he jumps in like asking for the problems in the group, but if we're talking about a skeptical group, then I imagine they've come here not because they want to, um, tackle a problem that they've already. I imagine if you're motivated, if you're going to a session, you're motivated. You might already have a conflict in mind, and something in the title attracts you, and you say, okay, like I have this problem, that's why I'm here, and that's why I want to learn to solve it. So what happens, can you still apply that in a group of like, a business setting where people are there just because the boss has sent them? Like, does he apply it in that sense too?
yes, I mean, the point on this kind of particular skeptical group is exactly what you said. Like
Mm-hmm.
people that is there not voluntarily. And
Yeah.
these people is actually quite aggressive in the sense that they basically tell you, he says at the beginning, he tells you like, can we just do this very quickly because I'm here and I have stuff to do and I have to leave like early and things like that. It's like very like straight to the point. And he says like that's why he tackles a problem and not teach them a technique,
Yeah.
because by tackling a problem he embodies MVC and not he teach MVC. And basically he says that with these people you normally will have to give them a lot of empathy before. It's a really difficult situation, and you will have to listen and listen and listen and listen with if you have these particularly difficult people in front of you. Otherwise he just jump into making a one question like in the screen and like in the paper, and the
Mm-hmm.
question is something like tell us or share or I mean or write down one peak experience in relationship with the subject that you have experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he gives some time for it, maybe 1 minute, maybe 10 minutes, and then we share a specific memory. He's looking for a specific memory, and everyone should have one. It's not just an idea. Is try to be specific, try to remember particular case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once everyone shared, so he says work in trios, in couples or trios, harvesting these things. And then once the people, everyone has one, they share it. And then he asked what were the qualities that were present in that moment, what happened, what was happening, and mostly looking for those qualities that enclose some feelings, right? And he makes
So
a dialogue out of it. Yeah.
would those be qualities? Is that what comes up in terms of like what you'd call negative feelings? Because they're talking about a problem. Is that what he expects to come up, like qualities that I don't really get
Yeah,
that.
with qualities I understand that he's looking for words adjective that
Mm-hmm.
give him a knowledge about the feelings. Probably
Okay,
this
okay,
person don't know how to express their feelings, but they have words like I was alone, or I was irritated, or I was sweating, or
got
I
it.
was like something like that. So try to like remember how was the environment and how was the thing, so he can more or less grasp the
Yeah,
feeling.
so for the people, it's something, to say it's a quality, it's easier for them to identify it and to speak it, not caring whether it's, a specific feeling or a need or whatever, but it gives the information for Robert to be able to translate it into feelings and needs, right?
Exactly. The thing is that it will depend of how I understand that it will depend on how it is the emotional literacy of the people.
Yeah,
So somehow I guess he wants to know what happened in the moment these people is remembering, right?
sure.
because he will jump in the next question, that is when people start to dialogue on this, his next approach will be like go to the board and start writing like, okay, am I hearing from you that you need this? So he translates those qualities into needs, and he puts them like, you need this, and am I hearing from you that you may be needing this, and am I hearing from you that like in this moment when you were feeling like this, maybe you were needing this, and then he tries to harvest,
Nice.
try to do the job of converting into needs. And that will be the third step. First step, get the experience. Second step, remember the qualities. Third step, he will go to the board and write the needs. The fourth step, he will like go to those needs and tell the people, look, this is what you're looking for. Like he introduced the concept of needs, and he introduced the concept of connection through needs.
Okay.
So he start from there, and then I understand for the note I take that it's an interesting moment where he will have to give a lot of empathy, because sometimes that triggers a lot on people. It's quite triggering. So he says, empathize with them, repeat again and repeat, connect, repeat, because it's a tough subject. Then he says, he asks on how he can collaborate with them. What can he do for them in order to like understand the situation, make it better, etc. And after he just go all around this subject, he finalized with like, okay, now that we have come to here, how does it sound to you that you may want to have, kind of building a request
Okay.
in somehow without being properly, so, or help them to build their request. So identify the problem, navigate through the feelings, harvest needs, and allow them to
For the strategies to come out, right, in the form of a request.
exactly. So he probably will not be able to introduce the concept of request here, because it's not the point, right? But kind of helping the people to identify that they can create a request, they can do something about it. So that will be the first part of this is what he teach in the first section of the workshop. Later on in the second section, I think we practice it. And give me a second, I have to turn the page. Okay. Whoops.
Nicely done.
So in the second part, he says, well, the qualities he puts into the workshop. So now talking from his point of view, what is he bringing into the room? So he says, focus always in the trainer, in the trainees. I mean, in the people that you're training.
Yeah, the trainees.
It's not about you. Focus on them and explore the unknown together. So it is about harvesting from them. It's about curiosity about what's going on. It's not about teaching anything. Then he says that he shared from his heart. So whatever is happening on him, and he will share it, like, today I'm very tired, or today, I don't know, bear with me because I'm having this situation, or this morning, or this happened, or yesterday night I couldn't sleep, but I am here and I'm supporting as much as I can. In the case that you want to share something like that, or share from your heart, right? Share your current situation so you can connect with the people. And then the last thing he says is like embody MBC. Just don't teach MBC, just be MBC, because like that's the best way to teach people MBC. So he just mentioned more things, but I just took note about like he just states on the process, he makes statement like, are you annoyed because you need protection, or are you because you need this? So he tries to like translate into short sentences, the one that we kind of get used to it, He
Yeah.
tries to translate that. So it's are you XYZ because of you XYZ, right?
Yeah.
And then he says that he tries to make this dialogue light in feeling, but very deep,
Hmm.
very connecting. And then he says that the last thing that he puts when people is difficult, what I told you at the beginning, is empathy, empathy, empathy until connection. Sometimes you will have to spend hours literally empathizing with them, their current situation. I mean, it's just difficult, right?
Could it, like, would it happen that, he has a 2-hour workshop with a group, and an hour and a half is pretty much spent just empathizing?
Yes, he says that he doesn't want to do short courses anymore. He do 2 days courses.
I don't
So
blame.
this is the first 2 hours of the courses he puts, because he says that 2 hours doesn't really get anywhere. And yeah, like we understand now that that's the current situation. In your case, I don't know which strategies you could build if you only have 2 hours. Maybe exploring small subjects, not really deep subjects, trying to solve. I don't know. It's young people, right? It's not.
Yeah, I'm yeah, I'm getting even more like worried now because from the beginning I knew 2 hours and a half is it's such a short time, and I really like it resonated with me, this idea of starting with what's the problem that you have, harvesting directly from them, and kind of embodying and demonstrating how MEC works. And at the same time, like, I have this kind of anxiousness. I want them to, in that short time, I still want them to see the whole process, or the whole maybe not the philosophy, maybe not that far, but at least the bigger picture, the fuller picture of what NVC is, and something practical too, something that they can actually take away. So when I hear like the way that that Robert approaches it, if it's 2 days, okay, great. But when it's 2 hours, I'm like, I want them to see it, to experience it, and be able to actually use it practically. So I'm still lost in how to approach, 15-year-olds, and probably people that um, don't have the biggest motivation to be there, especially considering that it's summer and it's warm outside and it's the second half of the day, so bit of a challenge.
Where do you think you will face? So what are the challenges that you're forecasting? What would be the or what will be the hardest thing you think you will face there?
The hardest thing that I will face? Good question. One thing that comes up for me is always like, you know, seeing blank faces of like, I don't know what you're on about. Or this reluctancy to get involved. But that is, I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too scared that they won't try any exercises or anything. Um yeah, I guess the biggest challenge would be for me is like getting to the end of 2.5 hours, having only done like a third of the whole process maybe that I planned, and being like, it's kind of it's left hanging. There's no closure. There's no sense of, oh, maybe I do want to know more about this. Oh, maybe I can already start applying at least a tiny bit of it. Does that make any sense?
So you're afraid to what is the thing I'm hearing for
Okay,
you? Like
it
I
might
will
be
admit to you. I will. I will MVC you. Give me a second. I will MVC you. Am I hearing from you that you have the need for completeness?
Don't
No.
see me, just give me
So,
empathy.
so you're afraid that you're not able to finish everything, or you're afraid that you will be like putting too much?
Ooh, both. Definitely that. I think one of my worries is wanting to include too much, so I can't decide what to take out and what are the main, most important things to include in such a short time. And at the same time, I really wish for it to be practical, so that one is that they can take something away and directly start applying in their daily lives, and two, maybe something that would leave them thinking, okay, I get the value of this, I want to learn more, I want to know more about it.
So with that, I think you probably it's obvious that you have the need that it is meaningful for people, right?
Yeah, and practical, like I hope it can be practical, as in practically applicable after the workshop. So this leads me to wonder, you know, maybe I could kind of take one aspect of NVC or just one angle of it, rather than trying to, explain the whole 4 steps or explain um, the whole method, the whole well, yeah, I don't know. This is in 2 days right now. I'm stressing out because like I have some plan that I wrote out, but I need to revisit it and see how it feels for me right now.
I can see you have a plan in your head right now. So just tell me, what do you have in your head right now?
I don't have a plan. My plan is written down on a piece of paper that I haven't read in 3 weeks.
Ah, okay. So what then? Let's make up a plan. So what will be? How you will like to start?
I don't think I'm ready for making a plan right now. um, I guess what would support me right now is like, I just want to hear your opinion. What do you think? Like, if you had a very short time, what is the message that you would like, a group of 15-year-olds to take away with them? If there was, one or two or three things or messages or ideas or understandings that they could take away, what would you like them to be? And I'm going to think about it too.
It comes to my mind that to my heart,
Mm.
the people that is will be listening this later on, that like what Robert says in this case for like skeptical people may also work here, in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that tackle one problem, right? Just take one problem, find it among the people, and just tackle that, and see how NBC worked for that particular problem. It will take the 2 hours and a half, right?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. What came up for me was, thinking about what I'd like them to take away. Two kind of core principles. One, that everything that we do is because we have an underlying need behind it, behind every action and every thought or decision or whatever. And like even a step before that is the idea that why do we have emotions? Why do they serve us? And it's taking the perspective that emotions are signals. They're really valuable messages to help us understand what is really important in life to us, what are, you know, our needs, what we really, really crave for. So because the topic that I'm giving this workshop on is emotions, right? As in, it's kind of the topic of this series of sessions, and the one I'm going to give is nonviolent communication. So that kind of helps for me right now, just to identify and clarify that out of everything that NVC is, I think I'd like to kind of focus on those two things, and maybe I could do it through a problem. I really do want to involve a problem that's relevant to them, and maybe go through a process, or go through, yeah, tackling it in an NVC way. How that's going to turn into you know, a practical plan, I think I'm going to leave for tomorrow. For everything to kind of settle in, and then write that up. Today I'm think I'm saturated with NVC planning, but that alone has really helped me. Just those 3 points: emotions, why we need them; needs, um, as underlying things for everything we do; and just taking the time to unpick a problem that's very relevant to that group of people. Is there something else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think that you kind of like your main and I'm hearing that your main giveaway, I would say, is that you want to make clear these three things, right? The importance of feelings or emotions, and the needs, how they're articulate, and their I don't really
Yeah.
can resume the last one in a
No, it's not a
word
point.
of
That's more of a strategy.
a strategy.
So the strategy is taking an example from their lives, like harvesting a problem that's important to them. And now what's coming up, like what I've realized now, is rather than you know, looking at NVC as a communication tool, I think in this session I'd like to focus on how can we identify our needs, how can we see the beauty of our needs, and also start, you know, recognizing the needs of others. That alone, like, even if we don't get to the point of, you know, the whole structure of, are you feeling this because you're needing this, I think this will kind of, it will automatically normally be um, part of the whole workshop. But I don't think I then have the need to, I don't necessarily have to spell it out. Okay, so we first make observations, then we have then we look at feelings, and then needs, and blah blah blah. Like, I'm not so interested in this workshop to use the 4 steps in a communicative way. Does that make any sense?
Probably you will also lose them. It is like a strip giraffe will probably work better than like formal giraffe, in the sense that you may lose them, like, now do an observation and now talk your feeling, like you will not get the connection with 15 years old people. Like, they just, things happen very quickly on them.
Yeah, I don't want it to be theoretical.
Yeah, so I just wonder, like, if it helps you, like, to make a map, and also for me to remember the first concept or subject was emotion. So
Mhm.
emotions, and you mentioned that you want them to understand that emotions are.
Are important signals, like alarms going off, messages that tell us that, you know, something very important to us has either been, you know, met or unmet.
Okay, so first point for you important, like in the general things, is emotions are signals,
Hmm.
and they are telling you that something is unmet.
Well, yeah, it depends on the feeling, but they point to needs.
They're pointing to needs, exactly. So emotions are signals that point into a need.
Yeah.
That's the first subject. The second subject was about,
The fact that everything that we do in life um, is in order to satisfy a need. Everything we ever do, however violent it may seem, anything that anyone else ever does, behind it, there's actually beautiful need that's sometimes hard for us to see beneath all of the strategies and the jackals
okay.
and the
So
disconnection.
sorry. Second subject will be everything what we do is in order to satisfy the beauty of a need.
Yeah.
It's just difficult, but there is a need behind, and there is beauty in it.
Hmm.
And the third thing you said?
I didn't say a third thing. The third thing was a strategy, remember? For the actual workshop.
Ah, okay. So for you, you will feel satisfied is at the end of the workshop, they run out of the room because they will run out of the room. And then if they remember what she said about needs, the needs are things that points to your, sorry, what she says about emotions, she says something about emotion is these things that are pointing to your needs. Ah, okay, so I have needs. And what was she saying about needs? Ah, okay, we all live in to cover some needs or something like that. Like if they
Yeah.
remember that.
And that and then that in some situation in life, the next time when they're in a when they have feelings coming up and when they sense other people having a lot of feelings come up, that they can remember to look for the need. To look for the need behind their own feelings, look for the need behind everyone else's feelings and actions.
Okay, so whatever strategy you choose, either by harvesting or by example or whatever, as
Mhm.
long as these two things that you have in your mind are met, you're satisfied with the event.
Yeah. Yeah, considering it's a 2.5 hour event, I think that's something reasonable to do, because I really wouldn't want to try and fit too much in and it being like just really confusing and too much information and not enough understanding or practical application. So it's more of in this case, it's more of a self-connection rather than communication workshop.
Ah, amiga.
¿Ahora ya
Okay,
entendiste?
ya entendí. Ah, amiga. Okay, okay. So inside the subject of MBC and everything what we have learned, I think for you it's valuable to teach this concept of like what um, Kathleen was saying, like
The torch.
that you move the torch inside, right? That's the things that you would like to transmit.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I think now I see more clear what you would like to uh, convey as a message.
Hmm.
Okay.
This might change by Friday morning.
Fair enough.
I
I'm
never,
sorry.
I don't know what's going to happen yet, but
It
this is
it
what's come up now from our conversation.
it also may change in the moment you start.
Oh,
You never
that
know.
is, I'm pretty, I'm very sure that that will happen. That I tend to improvise on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, business people is maybe difficult, but kids and young people, man, that's not
But then,
easy.
I think from my understanding, kids and teenagers, they're the people that are most difficult to fit into a frame. When we come with a very set structure, frame of how things are going to happen, with these expectations of how it's going to run, and we're not flexible to what's actually alive in them in the moment and what they really care about, it's not going to go down well. That's my understanding.
from another point of view, if they just put one on stage and says, you know what, this person is in love with the other one, all of them will be like, just looking at you like, okay, I want to listen about that. I mean, just take what subject that catch their attention like this, and you will round the movie. Like, I mean, if you start to talk about concept and stuff like that, I don't know, but just tell like, what would you do in the case you are in love with? Or let's make a role play. I don't know, things that are coming to my mind on how to capture the attention with this.
Like something very, a situation that's very dramatic in a way.
I
That captures
mean,
their attention.
exactly, very very Hollywood teenager movie thing that capture the attention, this attention of the
Yeah, something unexpected in a way.
exactly. As I think once you capture their attention, they're yours, right? It's not business people that they know how valuable is their time, and they know what they're doing and how much costs their hour and what other things they have to do, right?
It's about capturing the interest, right? From the beginning,
Yeah,
making sure that there's a hook to keep them involved and curious and interested.
yeah, that may work, I
Hmm.
think. Hmm. I mean, it works for movies. It works for Hollywood. Why will not work for you, right?
We'll see. I guess we'll see what I come up with by Friday, and I'll happily share what it is that I did. You know, what path I decided to go down with these 2.5 very short hours, and yeah, just share how I felt it went or what the reactions were.
It
It's
will.
it's going to be a valuable lesson for me, and hopefully sharing it will help someone else too.
I would like to have a like floating in the air camera that is around just for me to like witness. Like like I'm feeling curiosity on how not about you, but how the thing will work, right? How the whole thing will work together, and at the end what they take out of it, and how they see the things. And because we are surrounded by all adult people that are doing this, and with the adults they always have a very clever and built up answer. I wonder how it is with 16 years old people, like
I wonder too, but I guess I'll find out.
the hard way.
Or the interesting, the exciting way.
Well, it sounds very interesting. So I like I told you, when we finish, I think like I would like to record another video about what happened.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I'd happily
Yeah, definitely.
share how the event went, and
That would be lovely.
yeah.
Do you want to check out and then we close this
Sure.
conversation? Share with people.
Sure.
How do you feel?
Um I'm feeling I'm feeling confident, but not in the sense that I know what I'm going to do, more trusting that whatever happens, I'll just flow with it, and I'll just be present to my own sense of what might work in the moment, and I'm also very accepting and willing to take whatever reactions or whatever results come out of it. I don't know. I just feel quite. I'm actually a little bit worried that I'm not worried, right? Like, part of me is thinking like, this jackal going, you should really be worried. Like, you don't even have a full plan. You're just gonna go in there and wing it. What if it goes wrong? But then I look at it, I laugh, and I just go, yeah, okay, jackal, thank you. Yeah. And I'm grateful we had this chat, because it did clear up some things for me, some points to focus on. So thank you.
Well, for me, I think I already told you, like, I would like to be there floating in the air, just listening, witnessing, like seeing the faces of them, and like seeing their reaction. I have so much curiosity, and there's something magical that happens when people opens, and you connect with them, and just want to experience that. And I don't know, after last the week in Slovenia, now it's like, just give me connection. Yeah, I'm a connection addict. It's like I actually like looking to people like, are they connected or not connected? Just give me connection, connection.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would like to witness what is that, but it will be fair enough. You tell us later on how was it. Well, I'll stop recording and
Okay.
share with the people.